Are we recording? Yes, we are recording. Welcome to Women's Issues. I will frequently move out of the screen, I can tell it. Okay, so we have a mix. I said a little bit of this as folks were walking in, but we have a mix of all 5 campuses of Marywood in this class. The 5th campus is the Reading campus, which closed 2 years ago, but I believe there are 2 students in this course who still needed a few classes to graduate, and so are back taking this course to fulfill some of the requirements to graduate. So we have everything from first semester advanced standing students that this is their first class that they're taking along with ethics, to some graduating folks who are on track and graduating in May, to some returning students. We have Pocono students, Lehigh Valley students, Bloomsburg students, so all over the state participating in this class. So as I started to say, it began as kind of a fluke conversation in the fall. Leah, do you want to offer women's issues? And then I said, well, let's try it online, because we've been having more conversations about doing more hybrid and more online classes. So I said, okay, I'll try it. And so we posted it, and 30 some people signed up. So it began then a conversation of, do we cut it off at a certain number? And if any of you know me, I don't say no easily. So, if Carrie were the person that we were going to cut off and it meant you weren't going to graduate because you couldn't take this online class, I'm not the person to say no to that. And every one of you in here has a story to some extent. So I think for many of you, you are interested in this class. For a handful of you, you are interested in the fact that it's online. And some of you didn't care what you did just to get out of here. So I respect that. I'm sure it's all 3. It's all 3, okay. So when it got to be 30-some students, I will say this, and then I will delete it after I post this video recording, that Marywood was gracious to allow me to split it into 2 sections and for me to do both sections, which meant I still have 32 students, but I get paid for doing 2 sections instead of 1. Because those of you who know who I am, I teach here half-time, which means I get half of a salary, no benefits. And then everything that I do above that is adjunct salary. So you get $2,200 per class to teach adjunct. So instead of paying me for $2,200 for 32 students, they're paying me $4,400 for 32 students. So I am grateful for that. So I have designed this class with things that we're going to test out and see how they work online. I know that Dr. Rich and Christine Kesson Dr. Kesson have been doing classes online. I've dabbled a little bit in some hybrid classes last summer with putting some things online, but this is my first adventure into a completely online class. And so you can see some of my anxiety was in scheduling this today, because I was just so nervous that I wouldn't know who people were and wanted to meet some people that I didn't know and hand out actual syllabuses rather than just posting them online and thinking that people would run with it, which you know you would, but my own insecurity that I wanted to offer a chance for people to come and get together. So bear with me as I build the course. I haven't taught it in 6 years. I have taught it a number of times over the 20 years I've been teaching here, but the last time was 6 years ago. So I kind of revamped it because things change in our practice in 6 years. And I also changed it a little bit to be more user-friendly on an online course. So at this point, I'm going to pass out the syllabuses so that I can record myself talking about the syllabus, and then I'm going to cut off the recording, and then we'll just talk for a bit because I can answer questions to the folks that aren't here offline. All right, so if you wouldn't mind, Amanda, grabbing the syllabuses and passing them out so I can stay on camera. I'm going to upload this video, all 3 pages. Yeah. I'm going to upload this to YouTube because what I have found is that Moodle has some limitations in terms of what it can and can't do. Ida's shaking her head. So I welcome your feedback about your own experiences with Moodle, so I can try and find workarounds. So I'm going to upload videos to YouTube and send you to the link to YouTube. And for chats, we're going to use Google. Help me out here with the name. No, Google Chats, not the chats on Moodle, because if you've used the chats on Moodle at all, they lag a lot. So Hangouts, we're going to use Google Hangouts. Hangouts. Okay, so we're going to use the chat portion of Google Hangouts. Couple of us are going to pilot it after class like when we finish here. If you've brought a laptop with you, we'll get all connected, those of us here. And then for those of you not here, we'll type up instructions on how to do it. One of the things yesterday is your Marywood emails are actually Gmails, but we have to make sure that the right settings were at Marywood. So I've been in conversation with them over in academic computing to make sure you can access this through your Marywood emails. You can also access it if you have a Gmail account. So we'll do that later and have instructions for those not here. About the syllabus, but I did not print the policies of Marywood. They'll be posted online on the Moodle site, but you've all seen the policies from Marywood many times. I just printed the important stuff. You can. Here it comes. Oh, sorry. Okay, so this course is Women's Issues and the Practice of Social Work. My phone number is on the top. I think, Ida, you may be the only person who's never had me in class. That's my cell phone, and I really mean it's okay to use my cell phone. I would much prefer that if you have a question, you text me or call me than send me an email, because I don't check email throughout the day. Like, I don't have it automatically come emails. My phone is always with me, okay? So the purpose of this course is to integrate all the other stuff and move forward. I'll come back to the first page because I see none of you are looking at the first page anyway. Amanda's already turned to page 2. All right, so there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. There's 8 things that we need to do for this class. Sounds like a lot, but they're all small and doable. So the first is discussion forums. That's on page 2. There are 5 of them. There are due dates on the bottom, which are Fridays. So of the week that they are due, you have to post by Friday at midnight. Well, it's actually 11:55 is when the window is going to close. And they will be on readings and questions that I post. So, for example, the first one is due next Friday. There are 3 articles up on Moodle, and there are 3 or 4 questions in the discussion board on the forum, and you have to post 1 original and then respond to 2. It says that each student must post a new discussion thread and 2 reactions to other students' contributions. In the paragraph, it says that. Okay, so they'll open on the Friday before. You'll have a week it's mostly going to be on that week's readings and posts, and that will happen 5 times in the semester. Okay, so those 5 dates. If anybody catches a date that's wrong, please let me know, like when we start to get through this, because I was sitting on the calendar trying to figure out, is there a class day to this? So I used Fridays for the forums, and you'll see if you turn to the next, our chat sessions. We're going to have 5 live chat sessions, and these dates are based on Sundays, so it'll be the week of a Sunday. And there are 4 times available that you can log in to participate in a chat. You just need to do one of them. Where am I? Right. So that's a discussion. No, it ends on that Friday. Yeah. At the end on Friday. Actually, it starts on the end of the day on Saturday because Saturday students have class on the 5th. So, so let me try. So the discussion posts, that's the day they're due. They're due on the 4th. It'll open the Friday before. These are closing days. So you want to make note, because that's what I was struggling with, how to give you dates here. So on A, these are closing days. They're going to close at midnight on these dates. Exactly. I just opened it. It's there. It's there on 9082. I haven't put it there on 9081 because I have sort of figured out how to import from one to the other. I'm going to finish it after class, after we do this. All right, so then we go to B. These are beginning dates. I know. I do this, Jen, for you. Okay, so I believe January 31st is a Sunday. Okay, so the week of January 31st, you need to participate in one chat session. There are 4 possible times. Sunday at 9 a.m. on the 31st, Sunday at 7 p.m. on the 31st, Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the 2nd, and Wednesday at 9 p.m. on the 3rd. So whichever one works in your life. There are the possible times, and you just need to pick one of them. Exactly. Okay. And because we're using, what are we using again? What's it called? No. Hangouts. Because we're using Google Hangouts, you can do it from your phone. It's an app you can put on your phone. We fixed it. We fixed it. Yes, that's a forum. Like you guys have done most of it. How many of you have done at least something online? Little, that's fine. Mike hasn't. Okay. So they're what you're used to, the discussion boards. We're gonna test it right after we get done going over the syllabus. I asked these guys got to go to class in a couple minutes, so I'm just gonna. Where are we? Okay. All right. So then the next thing is a personal essay with 5 sections, and that is due on January 29th. I believe so. I just need to verify that if I create a folder and you put something, you can't see each other's. Is that correct? I have to turn off. I have to turn off because I want you to upload it but not be able to see each other's because it's personal. Okay? And this is really looking at the role of gender in your family of origin, in your life now, professionally, just sharing personal story kind of, and looking at how you view, how your lens is influenced by your own experiences. Yep, that's a Friday, correct? The 29th? It's due at midnight on that Friday. Okay, then there will be 3 quizzes. They'll each be 10 questions. My pattern is usually to give 11 questions and make it worth 10 points, so I'll probably do that. And they will be on Moodle. They'll be on those days. I'll open them in the morning and they'll close at night. So you have to do it on that day. Yes. Yeah, so these are going to be mostly multiple choice questions based on licensure exam type questions, and they're all going to be things about working with women and girls. And they'll be based on the material that we cover in class. There's scenario type questions because that's what the licensure exam is. Yes. Yes. I believe so. That's I believe I can set it up so that you'll know your score right away, except if it's not all multiple choice and there's short answer, you may not know those. I'm not going to time them for how long you have, but you have to do it in the 24-hour period of this day. Okay, so that's the only, I'll turn 5 minutes before midnight? Yes, okay, you can do that, Allie. So it'll open at midnight and close, like at 11:59 at night. So you just want to get those on your calendar that you have to. I mean, they're 10 questions. Realistically, they're not going to take more than about 15, 20 minutes at the max. Okay. And I will give you, prior to that, we'll have these are the key areas you want to make sure that we've talked about that you're familiar with. Okay. I really spoon feed. I'm very nice. Those of you who I did not. All right. The next issue is a current. So you're going to pick something from the newspaper, a current issue that involves women. It could be in the United States. It can be internationally. Anything that's current. Newspaper, magazine, internet, some news source. And then find 3 related literature kinds of things. And it can be articles, it can be reports that have to do with this group, this issue. And just kind of what I'm looking for is that you do, a short critique of here's the issue and here's what the literature's saying about this issue. Here's what I learned, that's going to help me professionally about this issue. 2 to 3 pages. Okay. I don't think this will all be journal articles. I'm thinking it may be a report from, the White House or United Nations report or child welfare or, the Hastings Institute or something, that you're using to help you understand better this issue. Like, can we use SAMHSA for that? Yes, SAMHSA, yes. Okay, that's due by midnight on February 19th. The next is what I call an evidence-based practice brief. It is 2 pages. It can be no more than 2 pages, front and back. I will post some examples on Moodle, but it literally is a fact sheet. You can do it in color. You can make it use boxes, use bullets. Think about if you were handing this out to your colleagues about this evidence-based practice, how to make it interesting. What is it? Who is it done with? What do we know about it? Is it used in anywhere near your community of where you live? Is there negative things said about it or concerns? So it's a fact sheet, front and back fact sheet, no more. Okay, for those of you who are, you like to say lots and lots, it has to be a fact sheet. Yes. Yep, you can use a brochure format. We were going to go and do a workshop. Yep. It's exactly what it is. Evidence-based practice. So I'm going to explain that in more detail. I'll probably do a recording and post a recording of me talking about evidence-based practice. That's not due till April 8th. So I'm going to give you, some of you who've had me before know the NORREP link, NREPP. That's a list of a bunch of evidence-based welfare site. I'm going to give you sites to go to, and we're going to do 32 different evidence-based practices. So you're not going to do, and nobody will do the same one. So that when we share them up on Moodle, you will have access to a bunch of different ones. And there'll be a chat that week talking about them. So we'll meet in small chats to share information about what was the one you did. All right, the next is an evidence evaluation of a standardized measure. It's very similar. A fact sheet like that. This is like the Beck's Depression Inventory. Okay, we all know that one. There are thousands of other standardized measures we can be using in practice with women. So we're going to go find some, and we're going to come up with 32 different ones that can be used with women and girls. And you're going to write, again, like a fact sheet about it, and we'll have a chat that week. And that's April 22nd. I'm going to talk about some, earlier in the semester. And then the last thing that there isn't any information on right now is the book. That's the last assignment. I have up here a bunch of the books that I posted online on the Amazon wish list. I need all of you to give me your top 3, and we're going to do 32 different ones again, and that's the very last assignment. There'll be more details about what you have to do for that assignment, but it's not a paper. There's no paper in this class, so thus I said you could do this. It's all very small assignments. So there's no big paper. The book will be the last week of classes. We're going to, again, have chats. What I'm really wanting you to focus on is when would you use literature like this in practice? As we're doing this. And I'm going to have some series of some questions about self-help, and I chose to use autobiographical books. But, when do we need to read stuff ourselves as professionals? When should we pass things on to clients? How and when could you incorporate it in practice? So that's going to be the theme for that focus. So you have all semester to read your book, or many of them, however. Yeah, the last week of the semester. Okay, so that's the assignments. That's the 8 assignments. They're all little and they're spread out. So every week you're doing something, but none of it is huge. I didn't put any pages on that. It's however long you want to write. And an answer, there's 5 sections there. I'm not gonna, whatever you're comfortable to share with me. I am a mandated reporter though, so if you tell me someone in your household is being currently abused, I am a mandated reporter. Okay. So questions on the syllabus. I know these guys got to get to class, so thanks for coming. Take a piece of pizza with you. Yep, I would like. The other thing I'm going to post on Moodle today is like a fact sheet so that I can get to know who you all are, where you work, where your internship is, where you are in the program. And then I'm going to kind of make a list of who's in the class so that each of you can see who else is in and who is this person, Wendy or whoever, so I'll put that together. So that'll be up there today for people to fill in the answers. All right, guys, thank you for stopping in. All right, any questions before I turn off the video that might be relevant for the whole to hear? You don't know. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the video, but I'm going to make a list of questions that may come up as we just chat here in the room, and I will post some answers up on Moodle of things that we maybe chat about in the next half hour or so. And then I will post instructions for how to use Hangouts. And the discussion is already up in one section of the class. It'll be up in the other one as soon as we get done here today. I will copy and get it over to the other section. And, in terms of readings, part of what I'm going to talk about with the group that's here, and I will post a question on Moodle for those who are not here. I want to know what you're interested in because I want to build the class to some extent around people's interests. I already know that, for example, 1 week is going to be on body image, disordered eating, and obesity because it's something that gets talked about a little bit in other classes, but I really want to put some good readings up and have us talk about how that's impacted us personally and in our practice. Issues around body image from as young now as 6, 7, 8 years old to disordered eating, bulimia, anorexia, binging and purging, but also the other end of it, the obesity, and women dealing with weight and menopause with weight. So that'll be 1 week. The book, we're going to definitely talk about women and depression and anxiety. But you've covered that in psychopathology. So I want to take it to a different level and talk about, practice stuff around depression and anxiety, and the fact that primary care physicians are the primary provider of meds for women with depression and anxiety, and how does that influence our practice? And what are we doing to help screen some of those things in conjunction with primary care physicians? And what do we think about that? So we're gonna take it beyond what you've already learned, in other classes. We're gonna do women and the elderly, and what are some of the unique needs of both caretaking, like my age generation caretaking, and then the elderly. What are we seeing in terms of medical conditions, Alzheimer's, dementia, which is across both genders, but what are some unique needs? Again, talked about in some other classes, but we'll refine it. We'll move it forward in this class. But I'm open to some other topics, so I'm building the syllabus kind of a little bit as we go along. The first week's readings are already posted. They're around social work practice with women, and this is the only week I'm going to talk about feminism per se, but the readings are about feminism. This is not, those of you who may be worried, this is not a social work of gender class per se. We're not going to spend the whole semester talking about whether or not you're a feminist. But the first week, I just want us, this first beginning is looking at our own story, our own journey of gender, look a little bit about what does feminism mean. So that's, the readings. And then the second week is going to be what are some of the hot issues that we're seeing in social work practice, and why should we still care about practice with women? And then we'll move into the more specialized topics. Okay, so there isn't a whole reading list yet. It's not all up on Moodle. If you're one of those folks that needs to look at, what do I need to read now, 7 weeks from now, Carrie. The book. This is the book. Evidence-based practice with women. It was very interesting in looking for this book. A book for this class. This is the book I used 6 years ago when I taught this class. There are very few books out there on social work practice with women, although most schools of social work will offer a course in it. Practice with women and girls, or women, or feminine social work practice, or something like that. But there's no great book. So I'm not saying that this is a stellar book. It's really a supplement to this class. You hopefully got it cheaply. That's also. Yes, hopefully you ordered the 2 SAMHSA books, because they do take 3 to 4 weeks to come in. So those won't be until later in the semester readings. But they are 2 that are good for your bookshelf to have. And they were free. Isn't that nice? If you're not familiar with SAMHSA, I recommend that you check out the website in more detail. There's lots of good stuff to order on that website. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop the video recording now.